What's good, guys? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and we are going to be fighting the Gore Magala, aka who I lovingly refer to as Maggie. Now, it's she, him, whatever you want to call it, was the flagship monster for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Yes, I can't remember who was the flagship for 4, like straight up 4. It might have been it as well, I'm not sure. I can't remember, I don't remember the Japanese box art, but regardless, this is the flagship for 4 Ultimate, and a fan favorite. It's actually a really cool fight. I personally don't like him, you know. It's a cool enough fight, but there's a lot of reasons to why I don't like him. I'm not really going to delve into them. What I am going to delve into is actually some of the things that they can actually do. Now, the Gore Magala is... Let's go ahead and get this one out the way. People are going to fight me in the comment section. I can already see your comments right now. Well, actually, Dak, it's not necessarily a flying wyvern. It's a juvenile elder dragon, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Okay, if you want to give it that classification, go for it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me anymore. Yukonlos is an elder dragon. Fight me. Pull up. I want smoke. I'll give you my address. Regardless. So here we go. The Gore Magala has a slew of attacks that actually I lovingly refer to as fake outs. I said lovingly twice this commentary. I'm trying to make that thing catch on. But it has an attack where it will use its, like, a similar bite attack to that of like the Rathalos or the Wraith thing, where they just kind of come up and just kind of bite you. Thing is though, the hitbox in that particular attack is actually very weird, and I even itself doesn't even think it's actually going to hit you with it. What will hit you is the backswing of his tail. That's the attack that it really wants to hit you with. I mean, if you get hit with the head, it does way less damage than what the tail would hit you with, and the odds of you getting hit with the head is a little slimmer unless you're really that close. But it's the tail you gotta watch out for, because if you do get hit with the head, there's little knockback. I think it's like you know, when like a friend just kind of hits you and you're just like not even a trip, just like a you know, just like a light tap. That's kind of what the knockback is on the head. It's nothing, but if you do get hit with it, usually you won't get hit with the tail. That's one thing. Secondly, it has very good flight capabilities. It will do a multitude of attacks out of its flight. It will do fireballs out of flight. It will do charges out of flight. It will do all sorts of things out of flight. So once it actually takes to the sky, bear witness and take note that he can do a plethora of things out of it. Now, once he gets back to the ground, his fireball game is still pretty immaculate. What it can do is it'll actually, instead of like throwing out a huge fireball, it'll actually throw out... It's still a pretty big fireball. Is it even a fireball? It's not even fire. I'm just gonna call it a fireball because it's a projectile coming out of his mouth. But he'll do it and it'll actually hit the ground and it'll explode in like 3 different places. For regular Gore Magala, there's multiple versions of them. It'll only go from the middle and then go, it'll be explode in the middle and explode on the sides and explode further on the sides. Think of it as like a wave effect. But it starts in one point and then goes either left, it goes both left and right. It goes from the center point in the middle, explodes there, and then 2 other explosions on either side of that same explosion, and then 2 more explosions on either side of those explosions. Now, it's not one massive explosion, it's 3 separate explosions, but you'll see it a couple of times in the video. It kind of does it quite a few times. It could do that. It could do a separate number of attacks once it actually goes into a second phase. It actually has 2 phases. I wouldn't even call it a phase. I would just call it a form. It just gets like angry. And the thing is, it doesn't have to actually be angry. It just kind of goes in on its own. And it's you'll know when it's there when the sky kind of goes gray. It'll actually protrude horns from his head. That's when he really comes into himself and actually develops a whole new plethora of moves and whatnot as well. So once it's in that particular mode, most of its attacks do more damage. He has a couple of newer attacks as well, but it's also the chance where you actually get to break his feelers. So if you're actually going to make his armor, you should actually look into breaking his feelers in that particular phase, and that's the only time you actually do it. But speaking of feelers, which are on top of his head, that's his #1 weakness. You want to actually hit that with as much fire, which is actually its #1 weakness in terms of the elemental side. Of course, you can get away with a bit of thunder, but for the most part, your fire is where you're going to want to really hang out at. Now, its armor, I was split, honestly. I was split to actually tell you guys about just the low rank armor, which is what I kind of been doing. But I've been putting these videos a lot slower now, and most of you guys are probably like high rank, maybe even G rank. So maybe by the time you see these videos, they're kind of irrelevant to you. But maybe in the next video, I'll actually detail like all the armors that the monster would have, low, high, G rank, and everything in between. for those of you who are curious about that, I'll make it like a quick segment. I'll just give you all the stats and all the skills and everything. It'll take a little bit because some monsters like Gore Magala has actually quite a few armor sets, but let me know if you want me to see if you want me to do that in the next video. The next video will be Zenogre, so if you want to see me detail every single armor, high, low, G, and everything in between, let me know that in the comment section. I'm just doing it as I am doing it right now for university's sake, and it's just seems to be working for the most part. But if you guys want to see more out of these videos, please do not hesitate to actually ask. Now, but his armor though, even all the other armors, they kind of follow a set kind of thing. It has frenzy resistance, which reduces the speed in which you get. Why? I can't talk. Reduces the speed in which you succumb to the frenzy, which is this black stuff you see hanging around my body. Now, what it does, gosh, like, I keep getting different answers. Like, it used to do one thing, now it does another thing. I believe when you get hit with it, it used to lower your affinity, but now I think it just negates like how fast you heal your red health or something like that. I can't remember what it is now or something like that, so I apologize for that. I know I could have looked it up, but I mean, I don't really look up much. But anyway, frenzy resistance, it's a very useless skill because the only monster who gives frenzy is him. There's actually only 3 monsters in this entire game who actually give frenzy, and it's just 2 different versions of this guy and himself, of course. Now, the next skill is actually 9 points into evasion. Just 9 points. It does give you a couple of slots to actually jump in evasion +1, but for low rank, that's pretty much all you get. High rank, however, you get evasion 2 for free, and you still get frenzy resistance. And I think you also get constitution, or that might be G rank. But there you go. Now, its weapons. I'm gonna tell you about the weapons, okay, for sure. Even though it's low rank, I'll tell you about the low, high, and the G weapons. Low rank weapons are pretty fair. It's a decent amount of attack. Element is pretty high for the most part. Early access to dragon, so this should be your first access to dragon weapons. I should recommend everyone at least pick up 1 or something. However, late game is good for low rank and is good for high rank, but once the G rank comes around, you better look for somebody else, because not only do you lose out in most terms of attack, its attack usually ending up only around 320 or something like that. The only thing that actually makes it very good is that it actually has, I cannot talk today, guys, I apologize. It has a high affinity for most of its weapons. So, fairly lowish attack, pretty good element, usually a little mid to mid-high element, some nice affinity, that's cool, but what really lets it down is its sharpness. Like, naturally all day, it just goes to blue. Like, in order to get purple sharpness, you need sharpness +2, okay? And that's at the very end of the G rank, so I mean, it's not really worth it at the end. Alotron probably has that covered for you because, you know, it has natural purple, but that's the Gore Magala. I mean, a pretty interesting monster, I'll admit. It will use its wings once it's in that enrage mode. It'll turn into like hands, and he'll like slap you with them. I forgot to mention that, but he's a very mobile monster, very mobile dragon. So if I was you, I would actually pay attention to a lot of his movements, understand a couple of the feints that he actually has. But once you actually do that, you should be in relatively good hands. It's just that he's kind of tricky to fight for your first time, because he's not quite like all the other ones, because he, quite honestly, is not. He's his own being. He is technically an elder dragon, so he fights a little differently from that of a flying wyvern. But with that being said, everyone, that's pretty much everything I can give you about the Gore Magala. If you guys like the video, please let me know. If you want me to expand on these videos, do more with these videos, please let me know in the comment section, because I know it's up to me to make the video content, but you guys are the one that's watching it, so I want to give you everything that you actually want. So if you want to see any changes to the format or anything that I do in this, please let me know. My time is technically limited, but I want to make the videos the best for you as I possibly can. But with that being said, twice now I've said that, it's been your boy. Take care.